Hi everyone. Recently I have done a presentation on this topic and I would like to share with you guys here today. The topic is about 5 things learned in AI coding, and they are also the truth not revealed by most of the social media. Let's get started. I will start with the structure of the presentation, which comes with my current workflow, and then the 5 things that I actually want to share, and in fact they are the 5 loopholes that I have been in during my AI coding process. Lastly, I will also share some of the practical advices. In 2023 March, that was the announcement of GPT-4. I immediately got onto the train of using AI and subscribe to the service. Lots of the changes have been going through over the last 3 years. In fact, there are also lots of struggles when I have been using these tools. And let's first talk about my workflow these days. So last few days, I started a new iOS project. What I did, I started by opening up Xcode and created the project over there. And then I would use a Cursor or another IDE to open the same folder, which then I would open Cloud Code inside Cursor, which is my major coding tool later on. But before doing any AI coding, I will actually start set up Git, like the git ignore file and other initialization. And also I would put down the rules to the agent in doing AI coding. For instance, since I'm using Cloud Code, I would be setting up the cloud.md file in there. After the basic setup, it is the time to get into the real project information. I will use the plan mode of Cloud Code to start building up the product requirements of the app that I want to build. I asked Cloud Code to write the PRD, which is the product design document, for me. Next, I will also ask it to write the technical specification on the technologies I am going to use, and also some of the methodologies that I want to leverage in the project. Then I will store these into the rules files, and it is now finally the time to get started with AI coding. Here is my experience so far. I've tried many AI tools, maybe over 50, including a lot of the code editors. And by using those, I have successfully built some of the iOS and macOS native apps. I also built some websites, including client projects. And now, this is the first thing that I actually faced when I was building those projects, especially in building iOS apps. The first thing is that Xcode Project can be broken. It's like building a house. AI can handle the bricks, but not building the infrastructure. Let's take a look on this example. As you can see, at one time I asked it to build a prototype of iOS app, and then I asked it to build all different features at once. It has gone through a long process, and it seems that it has created a lot of the files with folder structure. Everything looks fine. However, as I am opening up the Xcode project, it is broken. That means I cannot open the project at all. You will think, why is that? Xcode has a rigid file structure in the project file. It includes many settings into it. However, there is a lack of documentation on how this project structure is about. That means AI training is weak in terms of this particular folder and file structure. After all, if AI generates this file with a little bit broken, then the whole project cannot be opened at all. So what did I do to handle this? That's why I started iOS project by creating the project inside Xcode to make sure it works fine. Then I will set up the Git immediately so that it has the foundation of change history. I will also set up the AI rules before really doing the AI coding. Now comes to the second point, which is AI knows nothing about user experience. It only works well on layout. User experience is not about building layout, but it's more about building the whole user journey. However, AI coding usually works on static design, which can be good, but they don't really know UX. Here's a demo. AI has no design sense. It also doesn't know what's the meaning of good. In the example, I'm trying to add a swipe gesture to the item over there. There are already some other gestures in the wheel. And as you can see, it can be having some conflicts with other gestures that are already built in the project. It can conflict with each other and break the whole user experience. As I know, it doesn't know UX and it couldn't build good streamlined experience into it. I would ask AI to focus on one task each time, and after that, I will review the changes and merge multiple tasks together. Now this is the third point. AI can get messy really quickly on building up big features. Well, in fact, it really requires project management experience, like what the human beings are doing. AI is only good at working on one module, but it is not that good at building the complete implementation of your whole app project. At one point, I was wipe coding this whole app, which would show some windows of the apps that I'm running on my Mac. As you can see, this is a 2-row layout showing some windows in these 2 rows. Once the state is changed, it suddenly breaks the layout. And there are many cases like this in this project. I asked AI to fix it. It would say, okay, fine, you're right, and it actually fixed it. However, after a while, it breaks again. And it is really consistent in breaking things. So now what I do is I would break down big feature into small tasks. I ask AI to work on one task at a time, which should be building some stable UI and UX. I would implement some test cases to make sure it works as expected. After that, I would take care of the integration to put things together. The next point is about Git version control. Basically, every instructor, teacher out there teaching white coding will tell you this one thing. Make sure to have version control before setting up and doing white coding, so that if it breaks anything, you can always go back in time to redo the task again. Well, it is still very important. However, as we experienced, AI is good at some areas about version control. Like it would be able to commit often. It helps you to write very clear commit messages. It can also organize your commit logs to come up with the changes over time and make suggestions to you. However, when things really go south, it can even delete your whole .git folder. So recently I was working on this web project, and as you can see, at one point it runs this rm command, which means remove, and removes my rule file. That means no matter which rules I set earlier, it just wipe it out and forget about it. And then later on, it also removes the whole .git folder, meaning it removes all the change history in my project. Luckily, I knew what it was working on, and it didn't bring much disaster to me. Nowadays, I will implement multiple protections into my web coding projects. In most of those agents, you can set permissions to it. Like you can add the rm command into the deny list to prevent the AI agent in running it. I will also do more commits to my version control and push it up to GitHub, which serves as like a remote backup of the version history. As we already use version control, we can ask AI to work on branches, and whatever changes, it needs to go through pull request and merge it back to our main branch. Lastly, I will also do some cloud backup on the whole device, so if any really serious thing happen, I can restore the whole machine remotely. The last point I want to make today is about AI is smart, but also stubborn. It's just like working with smart but difficult coworkers, as you may understand. AI can generate complex logic easily, but when it is being corrected, it will start by saying, yes, you are right, you're correct. However, it will soon end up repeating its own faults again. This is one stubborn example. As you may know, in Swift, there is this concept of Swift concurrency, and there is a task in it which allows us to run some logic asynchronously. When at one point I was building a task management feature and built a custom task model, it has a conflict with the task coming out from Swift concurrency. AI is trying to add the namespace of Swift into it. However, it is not the correct syntax. I corrected it by telling it to use underscore concurrency as the namespace. But after a while, it just went back again and add Swift to the namespace, which makes Xcode fail to build the project again. So the solution is in fact easy as well. Since I know that there may be a name conflict, the quick, easy thing to work on is to rename tasks into something else, like user tasks or app tasks. The other thing I can do is to use rules to guide what to do and what to not do. As we already have the rules, we can always clear the conversation to make it clear and clean up the context so that it can work in a clear way. So I think in the upcoming time, what AI will be positioned. I think the workflow I learned these days is that to use Cloud Code to do the AI coding, use Cursor or some other IDs to check what agents change in my code. If it is about an iOS project, I will open up Xcode to use the preview feature to quickly show what the UI looks like. Cloud Code is really good when it is being used with other CLI tools. Since it knows our context, it can write proper commands and run it very efficiently. And of course, that would highly increase our productivity. If you think there are too many things to learn, here is the too long don't read version for today's sharing. Use AI as a supplement, but not building the whole infrastructure. Leverage workflows and practices to control its working complexity. Use rules to encounter the stubborn colleague. The above advices can be applied to many other tools. Just try more and then find the right methodology for yourself. And this is my forecast of AI coding in the upcoming time. I think that AI coding quality will continue to improve over time, but the workflow shouldn't change that much. Maybe at some points there are some specialized platform workflow which can enhance the results of the generation. AI is powerful, but it requires us smart drivers like us to drive it. This is a quote I want to share with you guys. Don't let AI control your thoughts. Use it to empower yourself. If you want to learn more, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel at AI Coding Club. I always share how I use AI to help building different projects in the channel. Since I live in Taichung, Taiwan, we also run a local meetup. If you are interested to join us, join our monthly meetup, feel free to scan this QR code and then come to join us. Thank you very much.